Hi, my name is Tony, and today I'm going to show you how to make an apricot upside down cake from plantbasedonabudget.com. I'm going to start by lining an 8-inch springform pan. I'm going to remove the bottom. You're going to put the side that is the smaller side on the bottom and use a pen to outline it. If you're good at eyeballing, you might not need to do all of this. It could be an extra step for you, but I am not good at it. You're going to cut the circle. It doesn't have to be perfect. As you can see, mine clearly isn't perfect. Actually, I'm going to cut it this way since it's rolling. Might make it a little easier. And try to do the best as possible. And if you want to do it quickly without paying much attention, just make sure you're cutting in the line instead of out of the line so that it fits when we line the pan. Now put the bottom back into the springform pan. Again, this is an 8-inch. Close it up. First, before I add this paper down, I'm going to spray it so that my cake doesn't stick to it. And then I'm going to stick this to the bottom. Now set it aside. Next, in a small bowl, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of vegan butter. This is Earth Balance. You can find this at most grocery stores. I got this one at Walmart. Then add in 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And I'm going to pop it in the microwave for 30 seconds to a minute until it is all melted. Now whisk it together. And I'm going to add it to the prepared cake pan. You want to make sure you spread it evenly because this is going to be the goodness that goes on top of the cake. Since this is an upside down cake, we're going to flip it, and this caramel goodness is going to be what is my favorite part. So spread it evenly. If you have a brush, that might be good too. My spatula is not the best, but I don't have a brush in here. So this is gonna have to do. Now I've taken 4 apricots, washed them, cut them in half and removed the pits, and I'm going to place them face down in the pan. Face down, this is their face, put it down. And try to fit them all in there, all 8 pieces. And this is what mine is going to look like. I'm going to put most of them on the outer side and then 1 in the middle. Give them a hard press. If they're ripe, they'll go down easier. So some of mine are riper than others. And they don't have to be all the way flat, but they will look cuter and cover more of your cake surface, the top of your cake surface, if they're flatter. Now we're going to set this aside. Now I'm going to take 1/2 cup of vegan butter, which is 1 stick, plop that in there, along with 3/4 cup of granulated sugar. And I'm going to mix it for a few minutes until it's really light and fluffy. You can see now that it looks whipped up, and you don't want it to be in little tiny balls or all clumped up. Then to the same bowl, add in 1/2 cup of unsweetened applesauce. I like to buy the little cups of applesauce because I find that I don't use the big jug fast enough and then it molds and I have to toss it and it really hurts me. So it's slightly more expensive to buy the cups, but I end up saving money because I use all of them since they're all individually packaged and you don't have to use them up as quickly. Add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1/2 cup of plant-based milk. I'm using almond milk unsweetened, but I usually love soy milk. I just don't have any on hand right now. And I like soy milk because it adds a little bit of protein, and that protein is a thicker consistency, which I prefer when baking. Mix everything again. You want everything to be well combined. Set this one aside. In a medium bowl, I'm adding in 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Make sure it is not past the expiration date when you're using it. And 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Mix everything together with a whisk or with a fork until it's super combined. I know I usually really love doing everything in one bowl, but this helps prevent over mixing. Once it touches the wet ingredients, you don't want to over mix it. So I mix everything in this one first before adding it to the bowl with the wet ingredients. Now I'm going to pour it all in here and I'm going to whisk everything by hand until it's well combined. But again, I don't want to over mix it and make my batter tough. I'm scraping as I go around to make sure that my flour is not sticking to the bowl. It's okay if there are a few clumps in there. It doesn't need to be totally smooth. Now I'm gonna move it to the side and I'm grabbing a baking sheet. I find that these springform pans leak sometimes, so when I put it in the oven to prevent leakage into my oven, I'm trying not to have to clean it, I put a pan underneath. You can either put it on a different rack or directly on top. And I'm gonna pour the batter directly onto our apricots. And I'm moving around so that it's distributed throughout the cake pan. I love having silicone spatulas for this reason. Helps me not miss out on any cake batter. And I'm going to evenly spread it. I don't want to disturb the apricots, so be very gentle when spooning. But you want the batter to fall on all sides of the apricots so that the apricots are baked in and you have that nice brown sugar caramel layer as well. I'm gently making it even while I'm doing this. I'm gonna put this in my preheated oven. The oven is preheated at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I am gonna leave it in there for about 40 minutes. My cake is out of the oven now. As you can see, I did need this pan because my springform pan leaked. And if I didn't have something underneath, it would have made a huge mess in my oven and I would have had to clean it and there would have been a burning smell. So I recommend always putting a pan under your springform pans. Here is where the magic happens. I'm gonna flip this baby over. I'm opening up the springform pan. This is why it's important to use one of these. And this one I got from Marshall's. I can also link one down below. I have a few that I like. And I'm gonna flip it over and open it up nice and wide. Then I'm gonna very gently pull the top off. And first I'm gonna remove this part. But if you don't remember, we also have this piece of parchment paper on it that I'm also going to lift off. And here you can see this beautiful, beautiful cake. I'm gonna cut into it now, and as I've shared many times, I'm not the best cake cutter in the world. So hopefully this turns out pretty. Success! It is so gorgeous. Now I'm gonna give it the taste test. It looks delicious, smells delicious. And it tastes so delicious. There's a nice balance of a little bit of tartness from the apricots because they weren't ripened all the way, and the sweetness from the caramel mixture that we put on top, and it is so good. Also, I'm curious, how do you say it? Do you say apricot or apricot? I know in our house it's a home divided where I say apricot and my husband says apricot. Either way, I hope you give this recipe a try. It is very tasty. If you do, please let me know in the comments below. I am including the link in the caption for the printable recipe. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.